And here we are again. So soon after my last video, I find myself with another story to tell. And it's crazy how in 1 week you can experience the greatest sadness and the greatest joy, loss, and the beginning of a new life. As you all know, my father passed away on January 7th of this year, this month. And on Thursday, I recorded my video about my father, and it went live on Friday, January 10th, which was also the day of his funeral. Well, that night, Cindy ended up going into labor. So, not even a couple of hours after the funeral, I found myself in the hospital. And at 12 in the morning on January 11th, we gave birth to our baby girl. Now, this is a story that happens before the birth, but after the funeral. So, here we are. I get the phone call. We're having the baby 2 weeks early. I'm nervous, so I end up running to the hospital, of course, to be with Cindy because I was there for Tommy. I wanted to be there for Isabel. So I'm in the hospital and I'm sitting there and we're getting ready to go into the operating room. Now, Cindy had to go in before me. They had to prep her. They had to do a couple of things. I'm not going to get into the details, but she went in before me. So they sat me down in a hallway and told me they would call me when they were ready. This is where the story actually begins. So I'm in this hallway. It's a small hallway. There are only 3 rooms, maybe, across. We were in the middle, and there was one on the left and one on the right. And there was only 2 chairs in this hallway. The chair I was sitting in and the chair directly next to me. In this entire hallway with 3 rooms, there were only 2 chairs, mine and the empty one next to me. And I know a lot of people talk about a lot of crazy experiences they have, especially after the loss of somebody in their family. Now, I've heard stories about people seeing their family members somewhere. They'll just see an image of them or somebody in a crowd or somewhere. They'll always see them somewhere. I didn't get that in that hallway. That didn't happen at that moment. But for some crazy reason, I felt the presence of my father sitting next to me. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe it was right off of the funeral. But there are reasons why I believe it was more than just a feeling, that it was there. And it's going to happen by the time we get to the end of this story, which is insane. So, she was being born early, which the doctors were worried about because while she wasn't in the red anymore, she was still in the yellow. So there was still a chance of something happening. So I'm waiting in this hallway. I'm nervous. And I feel like there's somebody next to me again. So I started talking like it was my father, like it was him sitting there. So we ended up having a conversation. It was very personal. It was a lot of things that I wanted to say to him before he died, and a lot of things I just wanted to say in general. It's private, I'm sorry, so I really don't want to share too much of it, but I sat there and talked to maybe it was my father, maybe it was the invisible man. No one except me, the invisible man in the chair next to me, and that hallway will ever know what I said anyway. And so I had this conversation, and I just get that feeling because I remember when Tommy was born. The way my dad would be like, "I'm grandpa." He said it in such a weird way. Only he would be able to say it. And I got that feeling all throughout sitting in that. Before I started talking, just sitting there, I felt like him saying, "I'm going to be grandpa again." And him being excited. And I'm nervous. And got called into the operating room. The operation happened. And as you all know, she had breathing problems. She couldn't breathe on her own just yet. They said it was very normal for premature babies for this to happen. She'll get through it. It's just going to take some time. So over a week later, it took a week to get her breathing correctly, to get her ready to come home. But there were times where she dipped low and they were starting to worry about her. And believe me, as a father, being at home, going in, going back and forth, whatever, it was nerve-wracking. We were very nervous. And my mother mentioned about uh, December 11th, January 11th, 111 is the guardian angel number. And I remember being in that hallway and saying, Dad, if you're here, somehow give me a sign. It doesn't have to be right this second, but give me a sign somehow. In that hallway, I got no sign. Baby was born, still no sign. My mother mentioned about 111. I said, maybe that's a sign, period. Like some type of a sign. So that was the first thought I had in my mind, that maybe that was the sign. I was wrong. It would come later on. So finally, she was able to come home. She was off the breather. You know, she was off the oxygen. She didn't need it. The day Isabella came home, my mom had a random dream because we were up early and she decided to take a nap after Isabella came home. And this is weeks after my father's funeral. This is a week and a half away after, and there was no talk about my father in the morning that day. Everything was about the baby. We were all excited. And my mom had a dream, and it was my dad at our front door, and he was leaving. And I'm not going to say their names, so I'm going to substitute for mom and dad. So my mom went, Dad, stay. And he turned around and in the saddest but warmest voice possibly said, I can't stay, Mom. And he turned around. He walked through the door, which my mom said was a light. It was just a light out our front door. He walked out the door and he shut the door. And our door has a very distinct sound to the way it sounds when it closes. And she said she heard it. She heard the door like that. And when she told me that story, that was the sign. My father stayed, we believe. You can believe what you want. I know everybody has their own different beliefs, and I'm not going into religion or anything like that. But I believe that my father stayed with my daughter as she was getting stronger, to keep her strong. I believe he was there to keep her strong, to make her strong. And then when she came home, he went home. Because I know I mentioned before Isabella came home and before that dream my mom had, I said maybe he said, you know, she was coming in and he was going out and he got to see her for that brief moment. I believe after that dream, which was not prompted, we didn't talk about anything like that, I believe he stayed with her, made sure she was okay, made sure she got home, and then he went home. That was a crazy experience, and it's something I believe. No one else has to believe it, but I believe it. It's the last thing I believe my father did for me before he moved on. And it took all those moments, like I talked about in my last video. It took everything. Like I said, we never got along the best. We had a very rocky relationship, but it took all of that and it just washed it away. And it's like, this was him giving me something, making sure that I had something, and making sure that his granddaughter was okay before he departed completely from this world. And it meant the world to me. It means the world to me. Whether it's true or not, again, you'll have the skeptics that say, no, it's not. You know, it happened. It's normal. She got better. She came home. It was a random dream. You're welcome to believe whatever you want. I believe what I just said, that my father was there. And out of all of his children, I believe he spent his last moments on this world making sure that my child was okay. So he dedicated his last moments to me, the child that probably butted heads with him the most. He made sure that I was okay before he passed on. He has other children, but he made sure to spend it on me, which to me means the world to me. I mean, especially because we had those headbutting moments, but to know that out of everyone, if it's true and he only was able to do it for one of us, he did it for me. That this is the craziest experience, a blessed experience, and it's something that I'm never going to forget. It's been a roller coaster of emotions this entire month. From a death to a birth, death and life, happy and sad. It's taken a while to process everything because I want to be so happy my daughter's here, but I'm still sad that my father's not here anymore. And as selfish as it is that I wish I could have seen him see her, I know now that he did see her. I wish selfishly that I could have seen it myself, but I'm not. And whether I owe Isabella's being alive still to him or just luck, I believe that my father was there and made sure she was okay and made sure she got home. That's what I believe. And it's a crazy experience. I'm happy. I'm a dad again. My dad is a grandpa again, whether he's here or up there. It's just been crazy. And now Isabella's home. She's getting stronger, getting better. She's still a premature baby. She was supposed to be born in the beginning of February. We're just now entering the end of January. But the good news is she's recovered. She's strong. She definitely has her mother's looks, thank God, but she has her father's persistence. And that comes from my bloodline completely. She is a fighter. And it comes from Cindy's bloodline too. She's got two bloodlines of fighters. And I'm just happy everything's okay with her. And it's a surreal experience that, especially after my last video, I had to share that. Because literally, it happened the day I posted the video about my father. And it stayed until Isabella came home. From the moment I felt like there was someone sitting next to me in a room where there were only 2 chairs next to one another. For 3 rooms, 2 chairs. And that feeling, to the moment where she was born on January 11th, 111, the guardian angel number, to the dream that mom had when she came home. Yes, I believe my father spent every last moment that he could for me here. And, again, I was here for him all throughout, him being sick. And, we had a few talks in between, like right before he passed on, the couple of weeks before and, weeks moving forward. He would talk to mom and me, sometimes separate. Most of the time we'd be together. And he'd say things and he'd talk about things and people. And I think in the end he was glad that we were there. I think in the end that I don't think it was his way of thanking me. I think he knew which son needed him the most at that moment. And he didn't have to. And he did. Words can't put, there are no words that could be put to this except a miracle. I believe my daughter is a miracle. She came through. She fought through adversity. She fought through, everything to make sure she was here. And I know that spiritually, somehow, my father was there making sure she made it to where she is now. And now he's home. And now he's at rest. And I don't know. I feel blessed both with my daughter. And I feel blessed that he chose to do that for me. Especially because of the way our relationship was up and down. And we butted heads. Maybe that was why. Maybe that's what made us close, was the fact that we butted heads. My mom told me a lot of times a lot of different things that I'm not going to say on here, but she told me a lot of things my dad would say to her about me, about Michael, about everything. So it's a blessing. And like I said, 2020 is going to be a year I dedicate to him. And there's a lot that I'm going to be doing and a lot you all are going to be seeing. I've taken the time to process. I've taken the time to grieve. I've taken the time to really get things straight. Now, I might need just a tiny bit more time, but I will be doing stuff, just not as fast as I want to. I just might need a little bit more time because there's a newborn in the house. And just like when Tommy was born, schedules have to be worked out, and getting through the first couple of months is the hardest, but I don't plan to be away for a couple of months. I plan to be back. I'm already back at work. I've already had my first live stream on Facebook and YouTube, signing those book plates for Celestial Falcon Issue 1's Deluxe Edition. I plan on doing a lot with the Aftershock Wrestling Entertainment channel and with Aftershock Wrestling Entertainment in general. the comic reviews on my channel, or comic stuff, reviews and everything on my Dark Avenger channel will be coming. Vlogs. These are stories that are going to stand the test of time as long as YouTube and everybody else is still around. These are things I want to share. And I'm going to continue to share experiences and everything like that across YouTube, across this channel, through my vlogs. And there's a lot of stuff to come. A lot. And I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm looking forward to the streams. I'm looking forward to finishing this office off. It's going to take a little bit longer to finish this office off. But when this office is finished, we are going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope all of you are looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed the story that I wanted to share with all of you. And that's all for now. I'll be back. Keep an eye out on Shooting Star Universe, because that is the epicenter where all of this stuff goes up. I haven't put videos up yet on Shooting Star Universe. I might wait till February 1st. So this video, my father's video, those won't be on Shooting Star Universe. But come February 1st, I am going to try my hardest to make it a point that any video I do, even if it's a video like this, I put it up on there. Even Aftershock, even all the other stuff that I'm involved with, I have to start making it a point at some point in the day, even if it's the day after or 2 days after, to put it up on the website, because I want all of you to know that you can go to Shooting Star Universe and feel secure knowing you're not going to miss out on a single piece of content across the board when it comes to YouTube, Twitch, anything. I was going to say Twitter, but I really don't frequent Twitter as often as I want to anymore. It's gotten to be a very interesting place. Instagram, I frequent a lot more. But thank you all so much for being here. I want to thank everyone who sent comments, everyone who sent their condolences on Facebook. I appreciate it. All the wonderful words that were said from some of my family members, especially a few of my family members said beautiful, wonderful things. And thank you all for everything. They're much appreciated. And I look forward to moving on from this now and really building up and having a wonderful 2020. Of course, when it comes to death, it never goes away. You just get stronger as time moves on. And I know that that's what my father would want. And I know that that's kind of the message he's been sending for a while now. Is that, that's why the day of his funeral, Isabella was also sent to us, I believe. It was his way of saying, don't be sad. You need to be happy. So I take everything that happened at the end of that week as a sign, all the way up to when she came home. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to do the best of my abilities and go beyond that if I can. And it starts, like I said, it started with the video, and we're going to move forward. We're going to have a lot of really awesome stuff happen, and I dedicate it all in 2020 to my father. I'll always dedicate it to my father, but 2020 is going to be the year I dedicate, the building year I dedicate to him. And we'll see what happens next. And I'm looking forward to it. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this story interesting. Whether you agree with it, like I said, or not, I still hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back soon. But till then, take care, everybody. And I'll see you all in the next one.